All right, so the first one I want to talk about is a program called Todoist. And this is primarily a task management program. So you can create projects within it and assign those projects different tasks. You can assign the projects to other people. So if you have like a personal assistant or a secretary, we all wish we kind of had one of those, you can assign tasks to those people as well. So this is sort of how it works. It has a free version, which is really awesome. I used the free version for a really long time, and I upgraded to the premium version because I like reminders. Reminders is one of the things that comes with the premium version. And they also have a business plan, but that's probably more power than most people need. So let's see. So here is, I don't know how well y'all can see that. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So here's the pricing for this. So the free plan costs nothing, but you get access on up to 10 platforms. So you could put it on your computer, your phone, your work computer, your TV. I think you can even put it on like your Kindle. You can do recurring due dates, so you can set up tasks to recur. For example, if you want to do a newsletter every month, you can set it to, remind you to do that. It's secure. You get subtasks and projects, priorities, up to 80 active projects, and within those you can have as many tasks as you want. So I don't think I've ever gotten to 80 projects, but that's a lot. And then once you get to the premium version, which is I think $36 a year, you can get 300 projects, but you also get a few more really fun features like labels and reminders. I really like the reminders because it just pops up on my phone or on my computer or wherever I am saying, hey, don't forget to do this. I teach college as well as editing and all the other things and writing, and so I'll just have it at the beginning of class pop up a reminder, take attendance, because sometimes I forget. So you can use it for lots of things. Location-based notifications, so if you're going to go write in a coffee shop, you can set it once you get there. Don't forget you're actually supposed to write, and I'll get on Facebook, right? So you can do that. You can add tasks via email, so you can email things to it, add comments, upload files. So it's not very much, but you get a whole lot of benefits to the paid version. But the free one gives you plenty to play with to start. Let's see. One thing that I really like about this one, are any of y'all competitive? No? You ever play Tetris and want to beat your high score? Yeah, I'm kind of like that. But Todoist has kind of a gamification option. It uses a system called karma, and every time you complete tasks, you earn more karma, and you can get different levels. I think I'm like Grandmaster or something right now. But when you get to the higher levels, you get like a free month of premium, or 3 months sometimes, or different kinds of stuff. If you just Google like premium codes, there's almost always one that you can at least try it on the internet. So some of the things that I've used this for, particularly for writing, are tracking the various writing projects that I'm working on, because I'm usually not working on just one thing. There'd be something that's being edited, something that I'm currently drafting, something that I need to promote. So each book or each story gets its own project, and within that I can do a lot of things. I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. Another thing that I use it for is for conventions and events. So each convention that I'm going to go to, I set a project for it. I put in there deadlines for things like when the applications are due, when I have to have panel suggestions back, if I've actually applied because I know that's something I see on Facebook or on Twitter a lot. Did I actually apply to that? And people have trouble remembering if they had submitted it or not, or applying more than once because they could remember and already had. Another thing that you can do is use this to help you plan your blog posts or newsletter or social media, those kinds of things as well. So you can drop in ideas for things you might want to post and then schedule it and do that. So let me show you a couple of things. This is mine. Let's see, can we make it bigger? Not really. So it's kind of small. Well, I don't know if it'll really make it much bigger. We'll try. No? Okay. Well, so it has over here kind of a dashboard. It has an inbox, and you can email things. If you have the premium version, you can email things directly to that inbox, and they'll show up. It works really well, and they just show up in there. It also has a tab called Today. Then anything that you schedule, put a reminder on for today, will show up in that list. I've already done all the things that I need to do for today, so it gives me a picture. And it says, you're all done for today, and then hashtag Todoist 0. You can actually tweet that out or put it on Facebook. Just another way to engage with fans, with people that you're writing with. It'll also show you the next 7 days, so what you have to do. See, there's add attendance for different things that you're scheduled for. You can also add projects to your favorites, so they'll show up right there on that top part. For example, this one's Contagion. So I had it broken into 2 categories, things I need to take and things I need to do. And so I have them checked off, so like TV, and I had a reminder at 6 o'clock this morning, don't forget to take the TV. And so it popped up on my phone. And you can check them off. You can make things like this. It uses Markdown. So, for example, to make this bold, I just put 2 stars on either side of it. And you can make it something like a header by just adding a colon after it. And so then it's not a task that you can check off, but it's a category that you can add subtasks to and expand it or make it smaller, depending on what you want to see on your screen. You can add comments. So here I could attach a file. I could use a file from my computer. I could find something on Dropbox. I could use Google Drive. So I could put any kind of file in there that I wanted to, and it would keep up with it. Now, when you update the file, if you're just dragging it in from your computer, you will have to put a new version in, but you can put as many comments as you like, and it will record them. But you can do voice comments, you can do smiley faces, so all different kinds of things. Let's see. For writing, here's one of my books that I'm currently working on. And I have in here, even though these aren't actual specific tasks, I like to put in like a blurb about the book or just some information. And that helps me kind of get in the frame of mind of writing. When I go in and I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to work on. I can kind of read a little bit about it, where I'm going. And then I have it broken into categories. I have planning, drafting, revising, and all the other things. And I have it broken down with outline and to send it to the editor, and then drafting each chapter, because I don't know about you, but it makes me feel a whole lot better when I can check something off or cross it off and say, yep, that one's done. And also I know here which one I've completed the chapter. So I know I didn't put like add fight scene, that I need to go back and actually add to it. So I know that chapter's completed. But I could also add a comment. So I could say, complete except for fight scene. And then it'll, show me that I have a comment there, so I can go back and look at it. You can also put in notes, something like, go back and look and figure out what this character's last name was, or, anything like that, so you can look at it per chapter and see what you need. It doesn't link to your manuscript, but if you're away, you can look at it and say, yeah, these are some things I could do in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and put them in there. And then I have for revising. So if I revised a chapter, I check it off. That way I know that it's ready. That particular chapter is ready for me to send to where it's supposed to be going. And then all the other things are other stuff. So I have one of those for each of the projects that I'm working on. So I have them in series. One of the nice things with this is the project section, and you can add emojis. I like them because they're pretty, they're cute, and it helps me. I don't have to read. I can look for the picture, which I read all day. I read for a living, so sometimes looking for a picture is a good thing. It makes it fun. And so I have it so you can add subtasks or subprojects, and so you can hide things. For example, here's the one for Falstaff Books. As you can see, there's 211 tasks there. I don't know if you can actually see it, but there's a little number. There's 211 tasks there. So if I expand that, that's going to take up like most of the screen. And so, I like to keep that hidden when I'm not actually working on that, so I can focus on other things. But if you just click on that main project, at least it doesn't do this on mobile, which I wish it did. I'm hoping they'll fix that because they've got some new updates coming pretty soon. You can actually scroll through all of the projects that you have on one thing. So you could scroll through all of them, all of the sub-projects and all of the tasks. So you can do that. If I'm working in a series, I can put the series there and then nest the books that are in the series underneath it, just to keep it a little more organized. And one of the things that I do for conventions, so for example, I'm going to Mysticon in a couple weeks, so I'll use it as an example. So I have the tasks that I needed to do. That's where I would put something like apply, or have I gotten rejected or accepted, what's my status on it. And again, you can just put in a comment, you can drop an image in there, or you can forward an email to it, any of those kinds of things, and I put it there. I usually have, so you can see all the completed tasks there. Any of the emails I get, I forward them to it. That way I know what they've sent me, and I don't have to search in my inbox for it. So for example, if I open this, it just sends it as a little attachment, and you can see just really easy to pop up. You can find the information really well there. So I break it into things I need to do, preparing for the event, like making sure I have a hotel reservation if I need a hotel reservation, or those kinds of things. And then after the event, I usually have some things to do. I want to update my website to show it not as a current event, and log all the receipts and the tax stuff. And a lot of times I drop them in there right there as a comment, because I'm going to archive the project and can still access it. And then decide if I want to go again to it. So pretty neat for keeping track of a lot of information and helping you be productive in that way. You guys have questions about that one?
So the reminders only come in the premium version?
Mm-hmm. You can set it to have to show up like in the today view, but to have like a push reminder, it's the premium one. But like I said, if you go and you look on the internet, a lot of times there's codes that you can get for a couple of months for free. I think they usually do like, yeah, and then you can try and see if you actually use it. Because I found that I do use the reminders, because I sometimes lose track of time when I'm working on something. It's like, hey, you need to do something else. And so the reminders were really helpful for me, but a lot of times people don't need them. Another feature is labels. One of the things that I do is put time labels on stuff, on some things. So if I have 5 minutes, I can say, okay, well, what can I do in 5 minutes or 15 minutes? So I put a label on it, and then I've got 5 minutes. Let me pick one of these, which one I can do. So like the 5 minutes, there's like 75 in there right now. But I could scroll through and pick something and get something done in that spare 5 minutes that I have. And that's actually a system that comes from David Allen's Getting Things Done system, or GTD. And he says, to do that. And that way he's like, well, I have low energy and I only have 5 minutes. What can I actually get done? And so that's that one. Any other questions about that one? Yeah. Okay.
Does it do mailer service? Because you have a newsletter out there. It doesn't do like mailer elite.
No, you can use programs like Zapier or If This Then That, and it has integrations between the two. It does have a whole lot of integrations with other programs. So, for example, if you, I haven't actually used the integrations with the newsletter because I'm really bad about sending out my newsletter. But I know there is one because I've scrolled through looking for other things. You can set it to, well, if I add a task to this, it'll, add a reminder. One of the things that people use a lot, y'all use Gmail. If you star there's an integration. If you star an email, it'll send it to Todoist as a task, so that it'll pop up in your task manager automatically, which is really neat. I have one of the integrations that I actually do use is with Weather Underground, and anytime it's supposed to rain, I have it to send me a task for that day to take an umbrella, and that way, as I'm getting all the stuff ready to leave for work or wherever I'm going, it says, it's going to rain, take an umbrella, and yeah.
How long does it take to set all that up? Because I think I would obsess about it, and it would take me forever to plug everything in and make it, does that make sense? I think I'd spend so much time organizing it that I'd be wasting time by organizing it.
Mm-hmm. It took the first time, it didn't take really all that long. I think I set it up initially in less than an hour. But you can also, a very cool thing that they have is templates. So you can actually save things as templates. I'll come back to Trello in a second. So let's say I wanted to start a new project. You can go over here and import from a template, and you can create the templates too. So what I've done, if I can remember where I saved them, because I moved them. Let's see. Todoist, there it is. Templates. It made sense. So, for example, if I'm doing something like something for Falstaff and I need to do a developmental edit, a copy edit, a proofread, and a cover, that's a lot of tasks in a single project. But I can take and I created it once, saved it, and it's just an Excel file, and then it creates all of those tasks in there already. And it uses smart language. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really nice. And those, as you can see, they're already tagged. So all the ones that I had put tags on, it keeps them. It also can do smart dates. So if you put send the file to the author, you can do 3 days later, do something else. And it'll remember your date, what it is. So it's not going to set it for February 9th every time. It'll be 3 days later. So you can do that. And recurring stuff. You can set things with due dates. You've got today, tomorrow, next week. It's got a smart scheduler, so it learns when you're likely to do tasks. And after you've used it for a while, it starts to say, hey, you'll probably want to do this on Tuesday. So if you didn't get it done, it'll say the next best day for you to do this is probably such and such day. And so it gives you suggested dates. Oh, look, see, there's Tuesday. Tuesday is my editing day, so it knows. So Tuesday. But I don't want that because that's a sample. And you can also add people to it. So if I wanted to export this as a template, so I set it up once, I can export it as a file, and here's that thing, use relative dates. So tomorrow means plus 1 day, or, and 3 days means 3 days later, from whenever you put it in. And it's really neat too because it uses natural language. So if I wanted to do the first Friday of every month, it'll set it to recur on the first Friday of every month, which is different than a lot of task managers because you have to go in and just say March 1st, April 1st. But this, you just type in natural language. Or you could type in, for example, with this one, I could do in a week. And there, next Saturday, it pops up. So that's the reason I always end up, sometimes I stray away from Todoist, but I always end up going back because of that natural language input. And that's not even setting a reminder. That's just having it show up in this today view, or in the next 7 days view. So you can see kind of what you've got done. One of the things when I'm planning my week, because I plan my week every Sunday, is I go into that 7 days and see what I've got as far as like meetings or any of those kinds of things. Do y'all use Google Calendar? Yeah. It works for all the other calendars, but Google works the best. It has two-way integration with Google Calendar so that it will have your tasks show up in Google Calendar, in your calendar for, if they're all-day events, they'll show up at the top, but whatever the time is. But if you move it in Google Calendar, it'll also move it in Todoist. So if you were looking at your calendar like, nah, I'm not doing that today, I'm going to move it till tomorrow, it would update in Todoist as well, that it would move it to the next day.
Does it go back the other way as well?
Yes. Yep. So it, and it works. I've never had it not work, and I use that feature quite a bit. So it's a really nice feature. And you can toggle that on and off too. So if you're like, I don't want to see all my to-do tasks, you can hide the calendar in Google Calendar. But it does have a one-way with the other types of calendars like iCalendar and Outlook and stuff like that. But the Google Calendar, it has both. So you can move them on Google Calendar and it'll show up. So Todoist is really fun. I use it. I actually use all three of the tools I'm going to show you, but I use Todoist in conjunction with all the others. So if I need more than just a comment space, I'll usually use Evernote, which I'm talking about third. And you can put in like a link to a note and have it just connect. Or you can put in a certain tag if you use a program like Zapier and have it automatically. If you put a tag on here, it'll create a note. Or if you create a note and tag it in Evernote, it'll create a task. So you can do it either way.